What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling fantastic today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the best, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely, intuitive even. Just really just great energy, all transformative energy all around here, Cancer. Because guess what? It's that full moon and that full day of the full moon lunar eclipse. And with this energy, Cancer, you know, I'm getting into like a whole separate reading. Let's talk about just the moon being in Scorpio first. Because with the moon being in Scorpio, this is an interesting placement for a moon. It's actually a pretty badass placement for the moon because it's Scorpio energy feels, of the water signs, Scorpio feels the deepest. You know, they go, when they're dealing with emotions, they're getting down to like the nitty gritty, the bottom of the depths of the ocean. And so when you think about that in terms of like with the moon's at, it can be a bit much for the moon at first. You know, you're definitely going to be feeling more intuitive. Even without this eclipse energy going down. So add that eclipse is just going to further heighten that, Cancer. But you're going to be feeling more intuitive, maybe feeling more kind of in touch with like your spirituality, kind of more feeling like maybe like feeling like the undercurrents of the energies, Cancer. Scorpio energy is really fascinating, and it's really, really powerful energy. This is something too, if we have any sort of like this is not Scorpio is not about surface level anything. So this is a great time if we've been wanting to have maybe some kind of like deeper discussions. Even this could be just in general, or maybe we had something that we want to get down to the bottom of. You know, this is great energy for that as well, Cancer. But yeah, really enjoy Scorpio energy, you know, being a fixed sign. You know, they're driven, very passionate. So yeah, just be mindful of your emotions during this time, Cancer. But it's really a very intuitive time, you know, great for doing some meditation, doing some deep dive, seeing if any areas in your life that you want to change and to grow. But then let's talk about this full moon, because just full moons in general, Cancer, full moons are meant for be like their time of celebration. This is and you know, we'll what I like to do with this when we get on the first side of the full moon, you know, after coming out of that waxing phase, we want to focus on the first part of just celebrating. You know, the fact that you've been putting in this effort, been trying to make this thing a routine, and hopefully this thing is starting to stick. We want to celebrate that and appreciate the growth. Take time to see how you really brought it, and then how you're going to keep bringing it. And then we'll reflect more when we start getting towards the maybe on Monday we'll start reflecting more. But take this energy going into the weekend, Cancer. Do some introspective work. Focus on what areas you want to grow, and just think about all this stuff. You know, think about all the ways what you've accomplished, and just really, really wonderful energy, Cancer. Enjoy this full moon. And then last couple of things. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Cancer. That's fantastic. So for your general energy of the day, Cancer, and how appropriate, going into the weekend, working with the Scorpio energy, you got the second card of Aquarius here, which is the Labyrinth card. And with the Labyrinth card, this is a card of lost, delayed, complex, contemplate, it's complicated, going inward, spiritual quest, deliberation, long way home, problem to solve, catch-22, and a situation to sort out. So Cancer, if we've been feeling lost or been on like a self-discovery, or things have been feeling just like, if it feels like you've been just sort of like aimlessly going, or things haven't been going your way, pause. This is a great energy for that. You know, let's take a moment, figure out where we're at on this journey, and let's go inward. Let's do Scorpio energy. Let's figure out what we can change, how we can overcome whatever obstacle is in our way, because whatever this is, you know, I like how this person is here. It can seem a little intimidating at first when we're going to do these deep dive Cancers, when we go to really find ourselves. I mean, we were studying the library for like a couple of days, and it's that going inward and going on these spiritual quests and really, you know, really learning who you are and what you're really wanting to accomplish on this journey it's pivotal. You know, it really helps when you are in a bind. It helps you strengthen your intuition, because now we've gotten in the habit of going within, you know, especially once you get in that routine, you know, of just checking in and just like really connecting with yourself. It makes it so that you're not caught up in like catch-22s and, you know, weird problems when they do come along, because Cancer, there's always going to be things that come along, you know, obstacles and stuff, but they're not meant to just keep you lost or delayed or anything along. And you know what? They may be trying to delay you just because they want you to take a moment and pause and really to be present with this situation and really take in all the growth and the lessons that are trying to happen here. But yeah, this is just with how this energies are lining up here, Cancer. You know, if we haven't been taking this time to go inward, or, you know, if we're noticing something, I feel like just honestly over like the next 6 months, you know, just until the next set of eclipses, just considering, you know, how this is fall, you know, we got considering the lunar shenanigans that's going down today. Yeah, really be thinking about this stuff, Cancer. Is there a problem that you want to work on the long term? You know, like really just do some deep dives there. But let's see how we can work with this energy, Cancer. Speaking of someone who does a deep dive, you got the King of Cups here. And let's see what else we have. All right, I like that. You got the King of Cups, you have the Five of Wands, and then we have the Ten of Swords. And, you know, Cancer, I feel like, you know, as we go on this, you know, one ways we can work with this energy is to not, because you know, sometimes when I feel like when we're on that self-discovery, it can be a little frustrating sometimes if we don't have that, like, if we feel like we don't have a clear signal or direction, or we just feel like we've just been kind of like been hitting dead end after dead end, you know what I mean, Cancer? That can kind of get you riled up, get you frustrated, get you just like, you know, But when you find yourself getting in that state, Cancer, remember, King of Cups. It's just like he's for me, he's a card of like emotional wisdom. You know, he's the type, you know, after the Queen of Cups really comes to understands her emotions and really gets that feeling down pat, then the King of Cups comes. And I like him too, because he looks like something that you would find at the bottom of the ocean here. Talk about that Scorpio energy. So I feel like that with this energy, don't let the conflict or the feelings of frustrations and things, don't let that keep you down. Don't let that throw you off balance, you know, off emotional balance. Just thinking with that King of Cups. Keep a cool head, because what's happening is that you're on a journey right now. I mean, we're always on a journey. But what's happening is that you're getting ready to grow from whatever. You're going through a metamorphosis, you know, I feel like with this Labyrinth card. And it may take a while, you know, just thinking how when you think about how these birds, you know, migrate for the winter. You know, that's not an easy journey. You know, there's going to be different storms. There's going to be all types of things that are going to come along the way, but it's going to lead to that enlightenment. It's going to lead to that emotional understanding of there's a solidification of our abilities, and that really just helps strengthens our confidence. And yeah, Cancer, it really, when we focus on this, it's just great healing energy that can happen when we do these journeys. But just being careful, you know, just like when you're doing this healing, you know, just with Scorpio energy, because it can be intense energy. And not even just during Scorpio season, but just in general, if you ever come across some kind of like intense kind of feelings while we're going through these, you know, if we come across these little spiritual quests or little things along those lines, you know, approach them like how, if it gets too intense, pull back a little bit. Take a step away from it. Give it some space to breathe. And then when it makes sense again, tackle that again. But, you know, don't feel like you have to force this, you know, tackle this fire here all at once. It may feel like a fire, but as long as you're taking steps towards it, I feel like it's not something that you have to like try to force or anything along those kinds. Cancer. It's just, it'll start to just calm itself naturally. I hope that makes sense, Cancer. But let's get a little bit more on this. Interesting. Okay, so you got the moon here, we have the 9 of coins, and then we have the 6 of coins. And with this energy, Cancer, I mean, this moon card is basically the labyrinth. You know, we're journeying into the unknown, and we're finding new paths about ourselves. You know, we're trying to find that potential. We're trying to discover that lunar energy that's maybe, you know, it's kind of trapped in this. You know, it's kind of covered by this forest. But I feel like that this is something you put that energy in and you really invest in it, because you got a lot of, I love this card. I was actually just thinking about this card earlier. And when you pour that energy in, and I mean energy in towards like the growth and and coming to that understanding of yourself and what direction you're trying to get to on your journey, that gets you in a place where you feel more stable, more self-secure. You know, I love these little ants here that are building this thing here, because that's what you're doing, Cancer. You're building yourself up. You know, it's like you're working on yourself from the inside out. You know, we have to hit all aspects of ourselves. So, and don't let that be like come across as like a daunting thing, or like make this where it's like a complicated, because yes, it can be complicated, it can be complex, but if we make it just like, start small. I kind of love how it's like, I don't know how well you can tell, these little ants have like, you know, little rocks in their mouths. You know, they're building this thing piece by piece, Cancer. And that's what it's going to be. You know, this is going to be like a piece by piece thing. It's not going to be, we don't have to make it like such an arduous thing, you know, or where it has to be like something that we feel that pressure, like it's something we can't, that becomes too much, if that makes sense. This is something that when we work on this piece by piece, you know, the whole picture starts coming into view. It gets easier to navigate this labyrinth. We start hitting less dead ends. You know, the things start illuminating for us, Cancer. But it's just, we gotta put in this work. And just thinking with the 5 of Wands too, you know, this can be a card of, you know, when you have fires that are going down, whether these be externally or internally, you know, we have to get a game plan. We have to figure out what we're gonna do. But it's going to be totally worth it in the long run, Cancer. And I feel like it's going to be something that you're going to appreciate, that you went on this journey, that you invested in this thing, and that you gave this, you know, that you gave it your all, you know, and that you're giving, not even just gave it like you're done, Cancer, that you're giving it, this journey, your all. So I like that. All right, let's see what are some challenges, Cancer, that may come up when working with this energy. here. Ha! You know, that, yeah, absolutely that can be. I mean, I was just happy just to see the sun, Cancer. But as this being a challenge, you know, when we're going on this stuff, you know, when we're trying to work out any sort of growth or lessons that we're trying to work through, it can be hard to find the happiness in this. You know, especially when we're facing, let's say, like, some deeper things, some darker things, some stuff maybe we haven't given some air in a while, and it's like as we're letting this stuff maybe kind of come to the surface, it's proving to be a lot. You know, maybe we might have a lot to unpack. But the nice thing with the sun is that, like I was saying with the Nine of Coins, we just take it bit by bit at first. You know, we just take as much as you can, because it's like when you think about the sun, you know, when you're let's say like when you first wake up, you know, we don't want to like just turn on the lights and blind us. You know, it's like it can be like a lot at first, but if we kind of ease into it, you know, maybe start with like some soft lighting, or maybe turn on like you know what I mean, Cancer, turn on like a hallway light, or maybe open a window, let some light in. But that's a weird example, but you get what I'm saying. If you bring too much light on something too fast, it can seem like a lot. But if we just sort of ease into this thing, you know, maybe raise the blinds slowly at first, you know, kind of let the sunlight kind of just poke in, let the rays kind of fill your room up gradually, it makes it I feel like a little more pleasant, you know. So just when we're thinking about, you know, finding this happiness, because the nice thing about the sun, this is a card that happens right after the moon. When when we embark on this growth, you've already got one ray of sunlight, because your work, this is where we're going towards. So don't let the sun, the happiness, the joy, the relief that you'll feel at the end of this, let that be your motivator. You know, because look, I love that this is like, you know, butterfly, like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon here, because that's what it's going to feel like. You know, it might felt a little, because you know, with caterpillars, you know, when they go to turn into butterflies, they completely dissolve themselves, and that's a complex process. You know, it can be a little uncomfortable, but man, when they come out, I mean, it's like you're revitalized. It's new life. It's new opportunities. You know, you feel innovative. You know, because Aquarius energy, the second card, Aquarius. You know, Aquarius they're brilliant signs, and and even thinking about that, the sun, technically, you know, our planet is, well, not planet, the luminary, is technically in detriment in Aquarius. So that just means that the energy is its weakest there. But that doesn't mean that that there's not potential there. It's just we got to work at it a little bit harder to get that potential. But man, when we do, I mean, the reward's the sun. It's your happiness. It's your joy. So keep that in mind, Cancer. It's always worth it in the end. More? Let's get some more on this. Love it. Got the Five of Coins here. And with this, you know, a challenge, you know, you might feel while we're going through this, there may be periods of time when it feels like that the earth has been opened up beneath you, you know, just like I honestly kind of like the fives in this deck in particular, because they all symbolize some sort of natural disaster. But the things when you get into, you know, those disasters is that afterwards, it's just like, what can we build on top of that? You know, it's like, instead of, because sometimes I feel like we can get so caught up in our own maybe personal sort of like disasters or delays, or, you know, whatever situations that we're trying to grow from, that we do miss the sunlight, because we're choosing to stay in the dark and just focus on the fact that it's just there's darkness all around us. You know, we're missing the fact that, hey, yeah, it may not be peeking through so bright, but there's a moon through this. You know, I don't know what's entailed for us in these woods. You know, there may be times where the ground does feel like it falls under us. You know, there may be some fires that we need to put out, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a long journey, Cancer. I mean, this is stuff that we work on constantly, but You know, even when you think about, just even thinking about with ants, Cancer, you know, I mean, how many times, you know, remember as a kid, you know, if this is something that you did, or you might see other kids do, where it's like, you know, there people come through pouring water on ant hills, and, you know, stepping on them, bringing all types of 5 of wands, 5 of coins, but guess what they do? They keep getting back up, they rebuild, and they persevere. And that's what this energy is asking you, Cancer, you know, whether this is something physical, whether it's mental, spiritual, we persevere through this stuff. You know, we find out what's got us kind of caught up here. How do we get out of this, you know? Because even thinking like this catch-22, it's like, I feel like that's something that even we can just create in our heads. That even gives us like an 8 of Swords vibe, you know, where we keep ourselves kind of locked in. So just Cancer, you know, when you think that you can't do this, you know you can, because you've done it before. The severity might be a little bit different just because you're stronger now, you're more resilient, you've grown. Resilience, Scorpio energy is super resilient. You know, they're the types that literally what doesn't kill them makes them stronger. They turn their weaknesses into strengths. You know, that's all that Scorpio energy is. They're not this stuff here. Bet they're gonna go to the moon. They'll do whatever it takes. If you know, when we're fixated on this sun, when we're trying to find that joy, you know, we gotta go through the challenges, but it's totally worth it in the end, Cancer. Now let's get some advice from Mars and Pluto. See what these two got to say. We got here Cancer. Love it. Friends came back out to play. We got the 3 of coins here, and then we have the Ace of Wands. And in Cancer, this, you know, this energy here, when you think of the Ace of Wands, the wands, you know, when I talk about the wands, they're like, they're seeds, you know, they're seeds of opportunity, of like potential. And so it's like if we just kind of, if we sit on this energy and don't do anything with it, you know, just kind of stay lost, then it's just that eventually that's going to lead to this place of frustration, you know, leads to conflict, and then eventually, you know, depending on how this may be translating, could possibly lead to a Tower moment. But the Ace of Wands, if we're just noticing something doesn't feel right, you know, that we've been wanting to get it more in balance, you know, we plant that seed, and then we go for it, you know, we put in that work, you know, because the 3 of coins, where it can be a card of collaboration, but it can also be a card of, you know, putting in that quality work, you know, really investing in yourself. This is Mars in Capricorn, and that's a strong, I think we had talked about this, that's a strong energy. And when you focus on this stuff, Cancer, that's going to make you just that much more stronger, and it's going to show you too just how resourceful you are, and when you can how you can get out in a pinch. Because sure, this situation, whatever this is that however this might resonate with you, it might seem complex and complicated in the moment, but when you get through this, that just showcases just how brilliant you are, how resourceful, how adaptable you are to situations. So keep that in mind, and as you're going through every moment that we're taking steps towards that, Cancer, give yourself, like, take a moment, like, way to bring it today, you know, you're really grown, like, and just make it a habit, Cancer. Let's see what else we have. All right, Cancer, last couple bits here. Dig it. Because absolutely, that's exactly what we're doing. You got the Hermit here, and then you got the Page of Cups here, Cancer. You know what, let's switch back over. Because Cancer, this whole time, you know, this thing, That's all. That's this very much hermit. You know, about the hermit is about going within to find that light, to find that sunshine. You know, this is normally in this lantern that's hanging up here, that's where the sun's chilling. So right now, you know, we might be working with the candle. You know, we might be going in this woods with the candle, and that's, you know, that's uncomfortable, but that's fine, Cancer, because you make this, because this is Virgo energy. And if you make this thing a routine, Cancer, you know, like working on this growth every moment, you know, and just every day, just making it a point. Growth is going to come from this. It's going to, where'd your other card go? It's going to lead to this place where, as you get through this stuff, you'll find that your mind frees up more. You know, that the energy start moving again. That you notice that you'll have ideas. You know, that opportunities start open up again. Life starts having this appeal. You know, so. Yeah, really, you know, if we find ourselves, you know, you know, if this resonates with you, if you've been feeling kind of lost, kind of maybe stuck in your head, just sort of like on a quest, you know, take some time, you know, as you can, carve out little moments of hermit time and just really figure this stuff out, Cancer, and really be with yourself. Because just one last thing too, you in general, you know, just being a water sign, being a Cancerian, you know, be mindful of the energies that you're taking on as well. You know, just thinking too, with all this Pisces energy you have while you're going through this stuff, you know, if you know, Mars being in our sign for at least I think till the 19th or so of May and all of that, you know, just if we're dealing with this stuff, you know, maybe let some others know too as well. Just like, hey, you know, I'm not, you know, trying to be crappy or, standoffish or anything. It's just like I got some stuff I'm processing. You know, I'm good, but you know, we're here, but you know, I may not be as, you know, as on as you normally are, Cancer. So, but just something to think about. But I think I'm going to leave that there, Cancer. So hopefully that made sense. That was a little bit of a complex one, but you know, when we're dealing with this stuff, it can be tough, but it's going to be worth your investing in the end, Cancer. And it's going to lead to your success, 6 of coins. But let's get this message circulating, Cancer, that we don't have to stay lost in this labyrinth. And no, Cancer, too, just even thinking about that, Aquarius, you know, they're about networking. If you are, you know, someone you might know, because share this in, Cancer, if you know someone who might be going through this thing, but maybe open that dialogue too if you do know someone. It's just like, hey, I've been noticing something. If you know that my door is always open, if you need anything, and you know, same, you know, let that stuff known, be Cancer. You know, let that stuff be known. Yeah, let that stuff be known, Cancer, and share this if this is something that's something that's been personally bothering you, you know? And then if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified around these videos each day. And then what great thing too, Cancer, you know, I'm on been on this meditation app for years. It's definitely helped me out when I've been lost in the labyrinth. But it's this meditation app insight timer, and I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's group there to just put like positive affirmations, you know, encouraging messages, especially when we're, you know, journeying through this maze here of life. You know, just something to keep the spirits high. And then as it grows, you know, definitely want to start scheduling different meditation things, you know, doing stuff like, who knows, I'm discussing. But definitely check that out, Cancer, and that's down in the description box, all that information there. And then lastly, you know, check your sun, your moon, your rising. You know, what better way to learn about yourself and to make things a little less complicated. I'll tell you what, Cancer. One of the biggest things, especially, and this is going to be more so if you know your date, to get to the aspects, you know, you need your date, time, and place of birth. But if you have all that available, when you look into that, Cancer, it's actually kind of incredible. You know, I got a little surprise for you, Cancer, that we're going to talk about like a little later on. But you know, there's you never know. Like when you reveal that kind of stuff, seeing those things in your chart, it really does help shine a light on this, because it's just like, oh, that's why I've been feeling this, as opposed to it just becoming a crutch. It's just like, okay, this is the hand I've been dealt. Okay, here we go. So do all that stuff, Cancer. I know we just did a lot there. Do all that stuff, and then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there. They have different themes. It's a good old time, Cancer. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. Whew. All right, another natural disaster here. But that's fine, Cancer, because you're a boss at it. It's a Five of Swords here. And the Five of Swords have been coming down. I feel like we've been getting a little bit of touchdowns here with this Five of Swords. But let me get while I'm shuffling for your Oracle card. The Five of Swords. One thing with the Five of Swords, because this is Venus in Aquarius. Everyone's journey is different, Cancer. Never compare how someone got out of their labyrinth. You know, never compare that to how you get out of yours. One, you know, but also with this energy, oh, Cancer making a mess. Also with this, just another obstacle. You know, we had fires, we had earthquakes, and now we got a tornado, and it's just like, well, okay, bring it on. And you know, when we're able to, I love it, when we're able to tackle that stuff with that boldness, Cancer. Oh wow, I'll tell you what just happened here in a second, Cancer. When we tackle that stuff with boldness, man, the strength that it let me just tell you what just gone down here, because your Oracle card is how would you say this? I think it's either Hergon Sacha, because I'm not sure if it's Spanish or not, you know, but it's either Jergon or Hergon Sacha. And you got it in reverse here, but this is a card of transfiguration. And I bring what got me freaking out here is that this is Mars. This card is ruled by, or this herb is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So you can get through this, Cancer, because what's happening is a transfiguration. This is a tower moment. Like, look, this card is basically a tower. And this labyrinth, it may feel like some sort of tower, some things that we may need to overcome. But when you take action, Mars, because Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. When you take this action and you get to this growth, that's what you're doing. You're working towards becoming your higher octave, Cancer. You're becoming into your Pluto. You're transforming into this brilliant. It's brilliant. So keep that in mind. That's what this whole journey is about. And even just thinking about just a random little thing, Cancer, you know, the number 22, you know, just a card, that's a master number, you know, master, see, it's master intuitive, master teacher, so just a little bit, Cancer. So this is intuitive energy for you, but I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. You stay safe out there. Think about all this stuff, ruminate on this. Keep eyes on the moon, you know, meditate under the moon, you know, maybe get out there, think about this stuff, and then take this latter half of these next few cycles. And, you know, just whenever something comes up, remember that, you know, it's the new challenge, you know, you're becoming a storm chaser, you're putting out, you're winning. So, and I will catch you, let me stop throwing words at you, on the next one, Monday.